Hey, powerful leaders. Welcome to season 2 of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. This year, I'm completely changing the game. I'm starting to own all of those parts of me I've been hiding. I'm going bigger and bolder, and my level of awareness is through the roof, and I'm excited to share this part of my journey with you. You can also expect even more amazing conversations with special guests from all around the world. Aren't my guests amazing? I'm so grateful that you're here, and I hope you'll enjoy this first episode. Let's hit it. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up-level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Today's topic is about my top 5 lessons from the year. I spent lots of time reflecting and going inwards, and I thought I'd share my experiences with you. So we often go, through life and through the seasons without truly stopping for a second, right? And truly anchoring what we have done for the year, who we've been, what we've gone through. So I really want to encourage you to sit down today, think about the past 12 months. Like, where have you been? What have you learned? How have you transformed? What was the biggest insights that you got from the year? And what do you want to take with you in the new year? And what do you want to leave behind? Like, what are you excited for in the new year? And what is your intention, right? So there's so many things to think about. And I want you to think about it too, but I also want to share with you what came up for me while I was journaling on this. And the first thing was around hiring a mentor, right? Because this year I've invested so much in myself, and every time I do, I always learn something new. But this was the biggest, insight for me, is to truly look at the investment and ask yourself, am I hiring this person from a place of lack or from a place of expansion? What do I truly desire from this? Because if it's anything that resembles lack, you will cause yourself to not get the best results you could have from that relationship. So always think about your intentions before hiring someone or before joining a program. And this might be obvious, but sometimes we're so much in our heads, or we're so focused on one particular goal, that we're not truly looking at the situation objectively and asking ourselves the right questions. So I thought I'd share this with you because I want to make sure that you hire from a place of desire, and not because you think you're going to get something out of it. Because, it's so easy to fall into those shiny objects and being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to hire this millionaire coach. She's going to show me how to be rich. And then we're just like, what? So just think about it. The second lesson that I've learned this year is to just go for it, right? I hosted my first mastermind, my first small, intimate mastermind, and I was just blown away. I was just like, why haven't I done this before? I just, was mind blown, not only by the amount of transformation that happened in that container, but I also realized I truly enjoyed hosting smaller groups, right? Because I feel like I had all these misconceptions of what a group is or what it should look like, and that it had to be in a certain way, with a certain time frame, with a certain workbook or whatever. But I just went with my gut. I just, said, I'm going to create a small, intimate group. We'll see how it goes. We're just going to share, our celebrations, our challenges. We're going to work on our mindset. And it was truly, truly magical, transformational. Even I got lots out of it. And the women in the mastermind, they were just so grateful for it. They were just like, wow, like I've never felt so seen and so heard. And I was just like, wow, this collective energy is so powerful. So if this speaks to you and you're like so afraid to host your first mastermind, just do it. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna love hosting it. You're gonna want to do it more and more and more. So yeah, like I know you will love this, and I really encourage you to share about it. Get some people in it and get it going. You're going to love it. So the third lesson that I've learned, and that's around the fear of failure, because I've always been, like a high achiever, a go-getter, and failure was something I've always been like fearful of until this year, because I've truly anchored the fact that failure is an illusion. It's not real. And failures are learnings and teachings. And when we're working towards a goal and when we're trying different things, failing is inevitable. Like it's part of the whole process. So when you accept it, you actually look forward to failing because it means you're actually doing the thing. It means you're actually taking action, right? And this was truly anchored this year because I just realized it's part of the process. And it doesn't mean that I don't feel fear anymore. Instead, I just look at it and I'm like, who are you going to be even though you're afraid, right? It's like reclaiming the power within. And that's the most magical thing you can do, because it's like looking at fear as, right? Is this the right step for me? Am I playing it too safe? Like, where am I and how can I reclaim my power? So I just love to use it as a compass to my next steps. And I don't see it as a doom day. I don't see it as like, well, this is not working, I'm a failure. I see it as I'm doing the thing, I'm taking action, I'm growing, I'm learning, and I'm moving forward, right? And that's the mindset shift that I feel truly changed the game. So there's always this learning curve I feel that happens. And if we get discouraged by it, if we keep repeating it to ourselves, oh, this is too hard, I'm not a tech person, like we're reinforcing that identity, and it's hard to reprogram it to say to ourselves, no, I can figure it out, right? I am a powerful leader. I lead myself, and I know that if I do this, if I learn how to do this, it's going to become easier, and I'm going to be able to reach more people, and I'm going to be able to expand my impact, right? So we really have to start working on that mindset piece. And the other thing for this is also, hiring it out and delegating. That's another huge lesson for me too. I was so afraid to delegate, and just the thought of like sharing my Instagram password and stuff like that, I was just like, oh my gosh, like it was very scary. But I told myself, you know what? I'd rather stay in my zone of genius. I'd rather do things that I love to do. I'd rather do things that I'm passionate about and delegate the rest. And I've truly been like mind blown. Again, why didn't I do this before? It's like we get so much in our heads. But yeah, everything is, you can figure it out and you can decide no, right? Like I'm going to hire this out. I'm going to delegate this. I'm going to figure it out first for myself and then delegate it. My next lesson for this year is I realize that people are tired of like superficial things and the little quotes, the little images that are cute. Like people just want substance. People want to see
the real, the raw, the imperfect stuff, right? People want to see the messy version of you. They want to see the imperfect version of you, because that's how you become relatable. And that's how people take you off of that pedestal, because that's what happens most of the time is like, oh, Anna, you're so amazing. You're so confident. I want to be like you one day. And I'm like, you already are that yourself. You don't need to be like me, because you are already powerful and confident and amazing. You just have to believe it, right? So it's like, how can you become so vulnerable, so real, so raw that people just take you off that pedestal? They can relate to you. And honestly, that's the biggest thing, because I feel like this is such a hard thing for people to do, to be like, I'm going to share my story. I'm going to be vulnerable. If I have to cry, I'm going to cry. If I don't say the perfect thing, I'm not going to say the perfect thing. But when I did that, when I shared my story for the first time, when I cried on live stream for the first time, it was like a revelation, right? Like, I've never had so much engagement, so much views, so much reshares and posts and comments, and people were going crazy. People were like, wow, you're so brave for sharing your story, for being so real. And again, this year I did it again. I hosted this 2-day masterclass, and I just cried my eyes out on live stream. And my clients were like, oh my gosh, Anna, like, thank you so much for like being so real and like crying. And I was just like, people are thanking me for crying. It was such like a weird moment, because I'm a highly sensitive person. Like, I cry 10 times a day. Like, I should have like come live stream and like cry 10 times a day on live stream, right? But it just gave them that permission to be like, okay, if I have to cry, I'm gonna cry too. It's okay. So when you lead yourself first, when you do the hard stuff, you actually empower others to build the courage in themselves and do the hard thing, the vulnerable stuff. Honestly, like, this is like the key piece that I feel is missing in most coaches right now. Like, I don't see any substance. I just see, here's 3 steps to do XYZ, right? There's nothing wrong with educational content as long as you can relate it to your own experience or your client experiences and you say the real thing, right? And that's something that people respect me for. It's like, Anna, you always keep it real. Like, I always share about my fail launches, like the crickets that I get. Like, this is not an easy journey. And stuff is bound to happen. And if you just preach to everyone online, oh, this is so easy, this is so perfect, I'm making millions, right? It's like, really? Like, we all know that's not true. So how can you go even deeper, and how can you start sharing those stories and truly be vulnerable and be yourself? The last lesson that I've learned is to trust. So this year, I've truly worked on my inner trust, my inner faith, because I've experienced very, very high highs and very, very low lows. And I feel like that trust that I've worked on is so important for the rest of this journey, because it's easy to trust when things go well. It's easy to trust when the signups are there, when people are engaging, when things are going well. But who are you gonna be when things don't seem to be working? Right? And that's the other thing. It's never not working. Even the no-shows, even the no signups, they're all part of the process, and they're actually propelling you forward, because you can always, edit the way you do things or change the way you do things until you get it right. So the only reason it's not working, it's because you're losing faith. You're losing the trust. You're starting to doubt. And that's the other thing. When you start to lose your faith, when you start to doubt, when you start to get in your head, to spiral, to be like, oh my gosh, this is not working. Why is it not working? And you keep putting that pressure on yourself, that's when things start to slow down. So everything you've been manifesting, all the work you've been putting in, is starting to slow down. So this is why working on that trust and that faith this year was so crucial. It's like we have to believe people are excited to pay us. People are excited to work with us. You have to believe that you are a powerful leader, that you are on this earth, this planet to do great things. Honestly, it all comes down to what parts of you are you not fully owning, right? Because the trust and the faith, it truly comes when you truly start owning who you are. So I know this is like a little like redundant, but it's so true. So you have to fully embrace and acknowledge your own power to start building that trust to make incredible things happen. And I see that too often. It's like, oh, can I really do this? Oh, but I don't have that certification, or I'm not like that coach, or I don't have that much experience, or I don't have clients yet, or I don't have testimonials yet, or it's like there's always something that's going to bring you down. But when you think about it, you're truly freaking amazing just the way you are. You are valuable, you are worthy, you are loved now in this moment. Not when you accomplish something, not when you add a certificate, or not when you get a client, like now. You have to believe that you are amazing now. This all brings me to my final thought. I want to let you in on a secret. This holiday season, it really forced me to slow down, go inward, and I've like intentionally took some time off. And I realized I've never shared this before, right? In my childhood, I was like highly connected to spirits. I could see them, I could hear them all the time. And as an adult, I felt like I've lost touch with my spirituality, and I've always like chasing the next thing, the next achievement, the next stuff. And despite all of it, I've like realized more and more that I've always been highly intuitive. I've always been in touch with my emotions. I've always been empathetic to others. I often get downloads. I can explain when or how it happens, but I know things, and I cannot even explain yet with perfect words, but I know I'm a highly intuitive person. I get dreams and visions like out of nowhere. Like I see things, and the next day I come to find out that it's really happening in real life. Like, for example, I was working with this coach, and I had a dream that she was pregnant. And like a week later, she told me she was pregnant. And I was like, okay, what is happening? And like, it was just crazy. So I know I've got these like powers, right? I don't know how to explain it yet. But I just feel like I have barely scratched the surface of what's truly going on here. And one of my goals for 2022 is to truly anchor in my fullest expression and authenticity and speak my truth. And I can also feel like when people are holding back and playing small. So I know I'm also holding back and playing small if I'm not bringing this up to the surface and sharing it with you. So I love to be a guide for others to truly find yourself and who you are. And I love inspiring and showing you anything is possible, that you can truly scale your business your way. Because when you do, you collapse time, you accelerate your results, and you feel so much more fulfilled. So in 2022, I'm coming back home. I'm changing the narrative. I'm owning all those parts of me. I'm ready to go bigger, bolder. I'm ready to, reignite the flame, to have more fun, more play, more flow. And I want you to jump in with me in this crazy ride.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.